Welcome to my 29th video. I'm a day late with this one, but I think it's justifiable, and it seems like the universe is trying to prevent me from making it. Over the last few weeks, I have mentioned that I believe I am being called to relocate. For the past few weeks, we, and by we, I mean mostly my wife, have been packing, cleaning, and painting, getting their house ready to list. My wife also set up a trip for us to head over to our new location to look at houses. This past weekend, So as we waited for the day of our trip to arrive, we watched places we liked get sold almost as fast as they went up. We said that we were following the Lord's will and we want to choose the house He has for us, not the house we want. Well, we found a place we really liked. It was the biggest place we considered, it was the least expensive, and it was the only one with a view of the ocean. So we prayed about this specific house just about every day and asked the Lord to take it off the market if it was not the place He had chosen for us. We watched it for nearly 2 weeks as all the other options we liked disappeared. This story has many parts, so I'm going to jump around a bit. So on Wednesday, we listed our house, and people lined up to see it like we were handing out a door prize, and there was virtually no interest. This continued on through the weekend. So while this was going on, we were heading out of town to go look at the list of potential homes that we might like. And on this list was the top choice we had been praying about. So after a full day at work, I headed out on a 6-hour drive to the point that is 3/4 of the way to our ultimate destination. So to say I was tired would be an understatement. So after a mediocre night of sleep, we get up and head to our final destination to start looking at homes. We have a full day of looking at places, walking around the property, up and down stairs, in and out of the car, so I am getting just a little tired and sore. I know it's hard to tell by looking at me, but I am not the picture of fitness. So we go to the second to last place, and it's a brand new house on a busy street in a commercial zone with an enormous resort and golf course you can't see right out the back window. It has no landscaping to speak of. It has a wonderful view of the convenience store across the street, and it's painted an ugly pink. Well, in my fatigue, I became infatuated with this place, overcome by its intoxicating newness. So at this point, I am sold. However, my wife seemed to think the things I listed earlier were unacceptable and a deal breaker. Well, we leave this magical place that will have no resale value and head to what was up until that point both my wife and I's top choice. Well, this is the fifth stop in a house hunting marathon, and I am wiped out physically and mentally. I was literally yawning and my eyes were heavy and burning. I was tired. So we pulled up to what is now my wife's top choice, and I believe hearts jumped out of her eyes like in a cartoon. She loved pulling up to it. We started the walkthrough, and it is old and dated, but easily fixable, and she is loving everything she sees, particularly the amazing view of the ocean from the deck. Well, when I pulled up, all I saw was stairs, lots of hard to climb stairs, one set on each side of the house, plus a third inside. Uh, Tired me was not amused. It had too many stairs, and being that I was in love with the shiny newness of the previous place, I was very underwhelmed by the shabby 1980s decor. So let's just say my wife and I had a bit of a disagreement. She was all in on the place that we prayed about and wanted before we left, and I was all in on what was an agreed upon distant third place before we left Spokane. So we were all tired and hungry, and we headed off to get dinner. While we were waiting to be seated at the restaurant, the Lord convicted me. He said to me, "You prayed for my guidance and blessing. You prayed about the house I had chosen for you. You asked for a sign to guide you. I have answered your prayer and granted your request, and you refuse it." Well, let's just say tired me was suddenly a little more alert. So in short order, we were seated, and my wife started to question my judgment and tried to sell me on her dream home. So I tell her I am tired and that God has convicted me. I tell her I want to go back the next day and look at the place again after I get some rest. So I get some rest, and it is amazing the difference that made. Suddenly, the other place seemed like a really bad idea, and this place truly was great. And I, from that time till now, can't really figure out why the other place had so blinded me. So anyway, let's bounce back to Spokane. We are out of town and the house is being shown a lot, and nobody is interested. The most enthusiastic reaction we have gotten is meh. 4 days of this. So it's now Sunday. We are standing in the home we believe God has chosen for us and have decided to make an offer on this house with nothing more than the faith that God has chosen this house and He will work it out. We did not even consider the fact that we had 0 offers on our house back in Spokane, and that if that house didn't sell, we wouldn't be buying this one. So we submit the offer and head back to Spokane. Another 9-hour long drive that didn't start until almost 3 in the afternoon. All well knowing I had to be at work at 6 a.m. the next morning. Thus, the reason I didn't make this video last night and why it's late. So anyway, on our way back to Spokane, we get a notification for a couple more showings. Well, anyway, those showings come and go and nothing. I then get a notification that my offer on the dream home has been accepted. So now I have an accepted offer to buy a home and a house to sell, and at roughly the same time, I get another notification from my realtor telling me that I have a full price offer for my house. This timing is far more than coincidental. I'd have to call it miraculous. So tonight I have 2 fully accepted offers that will close on roughly the same date, allowing me to move smoothly from one home to the other. However, through all the excitement, I missed the bigger miracle that occurred. Remember how I mentioned I was tired and worn out? That was after about 6 hours of walking around, climbing stairs, getting in and out of the car. I was physically able to do it because God showed me grace and has allowed me to lose a lot of weight over the past 29 weeks. I would not have been capable of looking at all those houses back in January, and I certainly would not have been able to have the home God has chosen for me because I would not have been able to climb the stairs. I did some research trying to find scripture on rejecting answered prayer, which is precisely what I was set to do, and I didn't find a verse to illustrate it. What I did find was most of the Old Testament. It is filled with stories about how the Israelites were blessed and then rejected the blessings and answers to prayer they received. If you have ever read Exodus through Deuteronomy and thought, man, the Israelites were a bunch of idiots, well, I guess I can be counted among them. There is only one term to describe declining answered prayer: stupid. I will end with a verse I have used before, and the verse my wife and I, well, me after a good chastising, have used through this journey. It's Proverbs 3, 5, and 6. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to him, and he will make your paths straight.